Welcome back to the Tropical Update. It's Sunday, September 3rd. I'm Tom. I'll be guiding you through graphics, and we're going to be talking about IRMA, and it is now a Category 2 with winds 110 miles an hour. We'll also be talking about the tropical wave that's moved off of Africa and the chances of development in the next 3 to 5 days. First up, let's look at Hurricane Irma at 11 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. It was 1,030 miles east of the Leeward Islands. The winds were 110 miles an hour. Pressure was 973 millibars, and it was moving west at 14 miles an hour. They expect this motion to continue with just a slight south of due west movement in the next 48 hours. And here's a water vapor picture of it. And if you look to your, it would be your left, you're going to see some yellow, and that is dry air. So it has been in some of this dry air, and that has stopped it from the rapid development. These hurricanes, they fluctuate in intensity all the time. So just because it's a Category 2 right now does not mean that it's weakening. And here is our computer models. And they have changed from yesterday. That'll be coming up. They are closer to the islands now. And it's showing more of a curve out into the Atlantic. But again, these are strictly for guidance. Nothing set in stone with these. And here is the one from yesterday. And if you look at that, you can see that it had it further away from the islands and pretty much making a direct hit somewhere on the east coast of the U.S. So just 24 hours, and they have changed a great deal, and they'll be changing every time they run. Next up is going to be our official cone, and it has moved. It has moved south a little bit toward the islands. They're now in that cone, and they probably need to be watching very carefully for any watches or warnings that are going to be put up. It just really depends on the movement if it makes that little southerly turn. And here is the most likely arrival time for tropical winds, and that has changed. The probability is much closer to the islands than it was last night because the track has changed. So right now, if I lived in the islands, I definitely would be watching. Next up, this is the whole Atlantic, and this is the enhanced satellite, and you can see where it's at, and you can see it's still a good ways from the islands, and though it looks a little bit north of them, if it goes pretty much on its due west or just a little bit south of due west, it could clip the northern islands. And here's another picture of it. This is the water vapor, and you can see that dry air being the copper color and the black. So there is some dry air it's running into, which is stopping it from rapid development. Our next one up is going to be what do we know? And here it is. What do we know? It's a Cat 2, 110 mile an hour winds. It is expected to move a little bit south of due west over the next 48 hours. Some strengthening during the next 48 hours is expected. It moves into a little more favorable area. Irma is a small hurricane, very compact. The hurricane force winds extend out only 25 miles, and the tropical storm winds extend out 70 miles from the center. So who should be worried? Right now, would be the Leeward Islands, like the Virgin Islands, Puerto Rico, Dominica. They're the ones that need to be ready for anything now. And it's all about that northwest turn. When does it make it? If it's a few hours, 6 or 8 hours late, it's going to be much closer to the islands. And here's the 5-day, and there is that area we were talking about off of Africa. And in the next 5 days, it has a 70% chance of development. And looking at it, as low of a latitude it is south, if it goes straight west, anywhere in the islands could be having some real trouble. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for subscribing. Appreciate that. Thanks for all the likes. And we'll be watching all our computer models here. And it's just a waiting game right now. It's still so far out, over 1,000 miles from the islands. We just don't know exactly what it's going to be doing. So have a great day and check back with us soon.